My name is Maina, Wacieni. I work for African Alliance Kenya Asset Management. We are an investment house and we look to invest our clients' monies responsibly. My key remit as an employee of African Alliance is to manage the investment process and particularly lead the investment strategy in my role as the Chief Investment Officer for the group, looking at East Africa. I think the best advice is it's never too late to start. Like anything else, just good habits are formed, as a result of, that proactive and disciplined repetitive behavior. So the minute you begin investing, you'll find that you'll grow the amount you're investing from, be it 5% of what one might consider your disposable income. Before you know it, you could even be north of 20%, right? And as you do that, you then grow your investment portfolio. You can start out by investing in, unit trust products. Thereafter, the world is your oyster. You can invest in stocks and even global assets, such as it were. So start. It's never too late to start. Start, as early as possible. I think for me, the passion for it is obviously one thing. Again, just like I mentioned earlier, my sister having set me on my course in terms of curiosity when I was, standard 4. So brother is also invested, or rather involved in the investment industry from sort of the private market side. So got to a point where I was basically exposed to a lot of that material early on, hence the passion for it. But I think most important for me was the prospect of being able to give back through the skills one has acquired over a period of time. So if I can help somebody achieve their investment objectives by investing their funds with integrity, I think that's its own reward as far as I'm concerned. I think it would be Warren Buffett. The reason being, he's just got, he's possibly the most, the best example I can have in terms of patience in investing. I think many times in Kenya, we are in a hurry to make a return. That exposes us a lot to, investing in things that can get us in problems, scams, or even things that we don't understand very well. So one of his simplest tenets is, invest in things you understand and, take a long view in your investments, right? So for me, I think that would be my choice. He also likes burgers as far as I know, so it would be a good meal. So I like art quite a bit. I used to draw as a child. I think the skills are still there, but increasingly I find myself visiting art galleries and just trying to appreciate what's out there as far as artwork is concerned. Very interesting thing about that industry is that you have a lot of young artists who are coming up, Kenyans as well. So to the extent one gets an opportunity, it's actually an alternative type of investment. One can actually look at investing in that, and again, you're also helping grow somebody who's in a different career, a different line, the creative space, as it were. I guess would be a time when we got our schedules mixed in terms of who was to go for which client presentation. So we had to quickly reorient. Fortunately, African Alliance is a very agile team in general, so we were able to cross-orient and make sure everybody was on top of what needed to happen for that client's meeting to go on without any issues. I guess maybe the most unusual thing was a pool table. So joined a couple of people and we put together the cash for the pool table. I didn't quite understand the mechanics at that particular point in time, but maybe as a result of that, that's another thing I tend to do quite a bit. I play quite a bit of pool as well. It was unusual for me because I didn't quite understand how the returns were made. different to my view, which is generally take a long position on things. The co-investors were very keen on getting their return back as soon as possible, which was a different point of view. But again, it was an unusual investment and something worth trying, I thought, at the time. I got my return on it, and then we sort of parted ways. Again, just a difference in views. I felt they weren't reinvesting back in the table, so the quality was also, as a player now, I was appreciating the quality was dropping, and I felt we were then going to lose business. So I think if I was to do it again, take a longer view, make sure the client experience in terms of the pool players is good. Maybe at that point you can even charge a little bit more than the next competitor down the road who doesn't do what you're doing. Maybe Denzel Washington in Equalizer. I think the rationale there being he was kind of methodical in the way he would sort of approach what he would do in that particular movie, do his research. And also he had a very keen sense of equity in terms of that, the way he invested, right? Or the way he would try and make sure people didn't get an unfair turn. So I think for me, that's a big thing, like just being fair in how you approach your investment process, and also the way you treat your clients as a result. I think my favorite book is one called The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Andrew Horowitz. Very good book in terms of entrepreneurship. Just gives you a very, very keen sense of how one needs to be goal-oriented in terms of anything they pursue. In this case, it was him setting up an IT business. I think the same approach happens as far as investments is concerned, right? You have an end game that you're trying to target. How do you get from point A to point B, right? You need to be disciplined. You need to have the foresight to just stay on course. And sometimes you realize you'll have to do a lot because it's a lonely road when you are setting some of your goals, right? So I think that was a good book. Podcast-wise, I listen to pretty much any podcast, but I would say that there are some that are investment targeted, some that are done by Oak Tree Capital, for example. That's one of the key asset managers in the US. I think they have very interesting and easy to understand stuff.